Well, welcome. Today it's a broker day. So this morning Maya told us something about the bigger picture of Heerlen and Wales and the Belangrijk Grant. And Jos is our colleague at Nijmegen, but he's retired now. So we miss him a lot. So I'm very, very pleased to see him here. And Jos worked as a broker the last 4 years. And he invented this way of working. And he will introduce himself and let us know what we have to do if we want to be a broker. Jos, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Jos Reinders. I'm the broker from Gebrokenbos.
Sorry, Jos, may I interrupt? Sorry. Is it possible for everyone to shut down the camera and the microphone? Are you already busy? Yeah, thank you.
Not Jos, not Jos.
Oh. I will want to share my screen. Let's see. This one. Yes. Can you see it? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes, we can see it.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. In the past 4 years, I've been able to support citizens' initiatives in Heerlen North in realizing their dream. But how do you do that as a social worker, as a civil servant, or in my case, as a broker? Let's start at the beginning. What is Gebrokenbos? In the first place, it's a network of 30 citizens' initiatives in Heerlen North. Each initiative is independent, and the similarity between all those initiatives is that residents have given new life to vacant lands or open areas in their own neighborhood. Where weeds used to grow, now children play with rabbits and alpacas. Vegetables are grown, life course trees are planted, or children can ride on their BMX. All these initiatives have been conceived, developed, and carried out by residents themselves with the help of the municipality, of a social work organization, or from a neighborhood foundation, or from me as a broker. I like to present you 10 tips how the method of Gebrokenbos works. First of all is ownership. Maybe an open door, but ownership is a significant factor within the Gebrokenbos method. Although the initiators do not formally own the piece of land they are redeveloping, the sense of ownership is an important motivation to invest a lot of time in it. Therefore, treat the residents as the owners of the site. This feeds their involvement and sense of responsibility for the place where their initiative is developed. The sense of ownership applies not only to the physical place, but also the ID phase. Therefore, my tip, do not judge any idea. Also, do not add or subtract from it. It is and must remain the idea of the citizens. The second one, and I don't know if the translation is right, working egoless. Depending on the capacity or quality of the group of initiators, there will be a need for a support at some point. If there is enough confidence in you as your role as a broker, as a civil servant, or as a community worker, an initiative will not hesitate to call on you from all kinds of parts of their plan. One thing is certain. By thinking and acting egolessly, you show that you respect the initiative. In order to think along with residents, it is important that you as a professional can listen to the residents without value or judgment. Above all, realize that the power of the supporter is invisible but effective. The third one, account management. Oh, wrong paper. The third one is working process-wise. Do not work project-based is my advice, but process-based. Projects have a beginning and an end. Citizen participation, however, is a pure process, hopefully without an end. Most citizens' initiatives develop in 10 phases. I point only the titles. The first one is the ideation or ID selection. Someone has an idea or a dream, and this will inspire and involve other residents to do something with an open space. Second phase is setting up a working group who are willing to work out the ideas. The third one, the most creative one, the layout of the site. A plan or a sketch is made. It is useful to hire an expert to help with this, and the municipality in Heerlen have that kind of experts. 4, the organization or status of the initiative. Do you choose a legal person, or does it remain a private initiative? 5, financing the invest budget. Where do we find money? Number 6, budget for operating costs. And that's very important. Then the maintenance of the site is something that you will achieve when it is developing. Number 7, an activity program. Will we also organize activities, and what, when, who, and against which cost? Number 8, communication. How are we going to ensure the visibility of our initiative? Number 9, recruiting volunteers. In the course of the development process, people drop out and sometimes people join. You should do that from the beginning to search for more volunteers. And at the end, insurance or other employment conditions. People who contribute on a voluntary basis are also entitled to good working conditions. Number 4 of the Gebokenbos method, the account management. Within the Gebokenbos method, the role of the broker or social worker is half the story. At least as important is the attitude and role of the government. A team of civil servants has been assembled in Heerlen who understand the art of properly supporting citizens' initiatives, looking at what is possible instead of constantly seeing problems, cleverly combining protocols and rules, and creatively dealing with the policy. Open doors that remain closed to ordinary people, expectations management, and above all, leaving control to the residents, having guts and not being afraid. For the citizens' initiatives, the role of the account manager is both a must and a relief. One person who represents the municipality, who cares about their idea or needs, who assists them in finding the way in the sometimes bureaucratic, complex world that the municipality seems to be in their eyes. Number 5, financial support. Money is useful and makes things possible. Locally and in the region, there are subsidy options available that are user-friendly, and of which the fund manager is often known by the name in the initiatives. So no anonymous fund, but funds with a face, involving people that you can call if there are need. We have opened a separate fund for citizens' initiatives Gebokenbos. The application procedure is simple. There's no form or format available. And an initiative can request up to €10,000 for one-off investments. We trust the applicants and assume that the residents spend this money well. Afterwards, afterwards, we are not waiting for a box of paper with receipts, invoices, and notes. We would rather be invited to attend the opening of the initiative, where the pride can be felt of everyone who contributed to the creation of the initiative. We also request the initiators to send in photos or videos about the development of the initiative. We can use this, again, for our engagement marketing. Number 6, knowledge sharing. The first initiatives started in 2013 had to invent the wheel. Of course, there were already many residence initiatives to which the municipality, community workers, and neighborhood foundations supported. However, the Gebroken Bos method started with the intention to have area development take place in a different way, more process-wise and bottom-up. The Gebroken Bos Academy has been developed to support knowledge sharing. For this goal, workshops have been organized where knowledge sharing is central. The topics were based on issues raised by the initiatives themselves. Every year, a conference Citizen Initiative Gebroken Bos was organized in which there was room for acquaintance, knowledge sharing, and discussion. In addition to the citizens, the account managers of the municipality of Heerlen also participated. Number 7, inspiration through engagement marketing. Briefly explained, use the best practices under residence initiatives as sources of inspiration for other residents. Build your network every day. Do not let a moment go by to make contact and establish relationships. Show what citizens have achieved. Our little Gebroken Bos booklet proved to be a good way to do this. Of course, you always have this in your bag. People like presents. The photos in the booklet literally depict the dreams, wishes, ideas, and ultimately the realization of a facility. They show what residents from the same district or in the same situation have achieved. Residents who had the opportunity to tell their own story glow with pride, and you can feel it. In short, we do not believe in pull or push marketing to encourage local residents to become active in their own neighborhood. Engagement marketing is a better way to do this because you use practical examples from residents from the same neighborhood or district. Number 8, social rescue or through network development. Invest in networking. Most initiatives that were supported by the account managers and later by the Gebroken Bos broker did not know each other. We are convinced that a strong network ensures social resilience. Many initiatives struggle with similar problems at the start. Being part of a network makes it easier to get advice, support, or help from a colleague initiative. The language spoken is familiar. The chosen solutions often also, because they come from the members of initiatives that had and have the same intentions and motives. A network increases the pride of the individual initiatives. All initiatives together make the difference, both in results, 320,000 square meters of undeveloped land have now changed into new habitable places, and in self-esteem and self-confidence. It matters. One is seen. They pick up and they share. Multiply by dividing. Number 9, effectiveness through research. Does the Gebroken Bos method work? We believe it is, but we cannot yet indicate exactly which part of the method contributes much or little, and whether the results has not been achieved in another way, and whether this method only works in Heerlen North. There are all questions that may be answered through the research linked to Gebroken Bos. For the purpose of the research, data is collected, conversations, data analyzed, and above all, reflected. Dare to expose yourself. That is the most important recommendation we can give. Constantly assess, consider, analyze, and criticize your own action as a broker, as an account manager, a project manager, or a communication officer. Monthly peer review is a good instrument to shape this. All things considered, this should be a natural part of your job performance. And the last one, shorten the distance between citizen and government. In my opinion, the most important part of the method. When there is a large gap between the citizen and the government, there will soon be misunderstanding, miscommunication, and wrong expectations. You can organize workshops on this, but narrowing that gap is already working away. In the first place, it is about expectations. Above all, the distance will also be reduced by giving confidence. Residents' initiatives should feel that people are being taken seriously and that they are trusted in the development of an initiative to manage the facility. It increases social self-reliance, and even more, it feeds self-esteem. Thank you. How can I go back? Yes, let's see.
You can go back. You will see a little square with a cross in it.
Yes, I'm back.
No, it's not. You still see the screen.
Oh, okay.
When you go, yeah.
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Thank you. Chris is sitting somewhere by the banks of the River Thames. That looks good. Jealous there, Chris. That was excellent. Thank you very much, Jos.
Yeah, I like
that
it.
was really good. You know, a picture speaks 1,000 words, as they say.
I like it too. Yes.
And they just, everyone looks so happy. The sun is shining. It really does portray I think the feeling of real happy community involvement in this one. So
absolutely,
really good.
I worked for 4 years in a paradise.
Yeah, so you can't stage photographs like that. That's more than other words. Can I just ask a quick question, Linda and Jos? Just now, I was very interested in it, in the balance you have. You're very sensitive to be seen as not taking over the project from the community, and the advice that you gave effectively, well, as a broker, you said yourself, you're shortening the distance between the community and the public sector and the other authorities.
Yes.
There's this kind of balance to be had. You have to be careful. You help them to navigate the complex issues of funding and so forth. I guess the question I have is for these organizations to be long-term, to be, you said, resilient as well, and sustainable and resilient in the long term, effectively you have to upskill them in all the things that you know that are in your head. You have to give them to them. You have to give them these skills. I think if I've got this right, do you put emphasis on also, as well as helping them with the project, but helping them to for the longer term, to help them to govern? You're not going to be there forever. I guess where I'm coming from is a successful broker, or you can agree or disagree, is a successful broker one who makes himself redundant for the project after a period of time, no longer required.
Yeah. I think you're right. It should be good if a broker is aware of his temporarily involvement in the project. And I think I put a lot of energy at the start of that project, but it's also a problem. I should not put too much energy into it, because the people are, how do you call it, afhankelijk, are not independent of the broker.
Yeah.
And that's a problem, because my participation is also always temporarily. I think we have different niveaus of participation at the involvement of the broker. In the beginning, a lot of time, but in the end, also, how do you call it, maintenance the relationship, because people should more and more supported by the network, and it is a kind of self-reliant in the network, that they can problem solving with each other, and not relying
peer support. Yes,
exactly, yes. And that was we have a longer time than only 4 or 5 or 6 years to achieve that. But okay, I in those 4 years I didn't see, Kelly, I think that's maybe you remember that there are not much initiatives who are stopped, who are not. I think a project would have not many chances to develop itself. It will not start. But if it starts, people are going on, and the one or other way they will develop their initiative, and they are staying. There are not many projects who stopped in a way.
And
or they stopped. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we saw a few initiatives that stopped, but mostly that was because one of the 10 elements that you just mentioned were not in it. And most, I think the first one is the most important, the ownership. If that's not, if the citizens don't feel the ownership in what way, then it stops. Then it's not going to maintain for a long time.
Yes.
And that's the big question. How important is it for you as citizen? As we are going to say, you have to develop and you have to go further, and they don't feel it. There's no intrinsic motivation. You can forget it. And there is also one thing, Jos, what we saw was that every initiative develops with same stages. So very enthusiastic. We are beginning in the start and very enthusiastic. There are activities employed, and then there's a moment. Okay, we need to grow. We need more people. We need more money, and it's always the same. And then everything goes down. The energy goes down, and sometimes there is a solution, and then everybody is again enthusiastic, and that's what we see in all the projects and all the initiatives. And that's a very good thing to know, and to help the other initiatives with.
But maybe the most the biggest problem is what's another word for geduld?
Patience.
Patience. Maybe we put that as method number 11 or 1. The patience that the citizens should and would have to develop their initiative, because sometimes it takes a long time before the local government can do the next step, because there are bureaucratic problems, and the initiatives have good ideas, they are enthusiastic, and they want the next week to start with developing the area because there's growing wheat or whatever. No. We must look at it, and the local government. We should combine the people who are involved in this, and that's waiting for those results is a problem. And sometimes the project, if it's developed within a year, it's fast. So you have need a long. That's fast.
Yeah. We have a phenomenon called, we'll recognize it in the UK, called volunteer fatigue. And it's where people, maybe the same people that are involved in many community projects, and they're the only ones, and they can't get other people engaged, and it's them that's doing all the work, and they are putting a lot of their own time. They're not getting paid for this.
Yes.
So they just want to get the thing done. and they're spending all the time on this one. Eventually, that burns out, and eventually you risk people saying, you know, I've had enough. Somebody needs to take this forward. So you've got to keep that drive, but you need to help them to get engaged with other people as well. So I just wondered if that's common with you too.
Yes, I find it really astonishing that people are, everybody is living in a house, they have a front door, and behind the front door, oh, that's a municipality, that's not my responsibility. Now our people are coming out their front door and saying, hey, it's our responsibility also. I want to make my neighborhood livable. I want to invest with other people in the open and public space. That's very special. It's not in our culture to do so. And if you trust the people and give them enough space, mentally and literally space, people taking their chances and making some 20, 30 marvelous projects. And that's really astonishing. But you have to Fingerspitzengefühl. It's really complicated to follow this and not standing in the way, giving enough space, and have respect for the steps they take. Also respect for the mistakes that they make. It are their mistakes, and they should solve that problem. But the research is going on, and I think in a few months we can show you a very good result of that. Yes.
Thank you, Jos. Do you want to let us look at the video still, or?
Well, there aren't subtitles, so I think that's not
Possible. Okay, that's a shame.
Yeah, it's only for you and Kelly and Linda. Hearable.
So hopefully that we can solve these problems with the video, because I think it would be nice if you could share it after.
Yeah. My wife is, we are sharing an office here, is now uploading the video again, and okay, we shall solve this problem. Rely on that, but not now.
Yeah, Chris just wrote in the chat, like, upload to YouTube.
Yeah,
because then you can automatically get the subtitle.
Yeah, but Chris, that's the problem. I will send the link another time in the chat. And Chris, maybe you can look at it, because we really don't have a clue. The other videos work, but this one doesn't. And that's why we can't. We just tested it in the beginning of this meeting. I will send you the link.
Out of interest, what format is the video in?
MP4.
That should be.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so the video will follow then.
Yes.
I see that Linda is trying.
Yeah.
So the question from you, Linda, is if Chris could check on it, or? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're muted. Okay. Are there any other questions?
I'm still here. I'm retired, so I have enough time.
Maybe for Jos, but otherwise also maybe for Kelly. Maybe a little bit of introduction. Kelly is my direct colleague from the municipality of Heerlen. So she has the same role for Gebrokerbos as I have for the City Lab of Heerlen. Thank you for joining us, Kelly.
Yes, and I think the big difference is I work not in the centrum of Heerlen, but in the north of Heerlen, which are, it's a really different area. Most of the people who live there are, lower educated. So in our, it's in our program for restructuring these neighborhoods. So they have a lot of attention, and we tried to upgraded these areas by this bottom-up initiatives. And we started in, I think in 2014 it started, so now we're 6 years further. And I think about 30 initiatives have been realized so far, and there's still be coming up some more. So we're not done yet.
And another difference is that it's not age restricted, and the City Lab, like we said yesterday, is just for young people. We help the young social entrepreneurs, and there are a lot of similarities. The ideas are not the same, because we have a city garden, thanks to Jos. But that's also a bottom-up initiative, and there are with all respect, the older people involved, and the more business wise things, like what Job does. That's more for the young people. So that's it's in the frame of the City Lab, the young people, but it looks like that it develops organically. I think the problems in the center are just the things where younger people are going to work with and willing to work with. So that's a difference.
Mm. But I saw some differences. A similar project in the center of Hillen, like that city garden. It's like all those other projects in Brookerbos in Hillen North, but the surrounding and the conditions are different. The area is an open space. It seems the same. The citizens are willing. It's a big group of people who are living there who wants to develop that open space in a green area. But the ownership of one of the workable parts of the Brookerbos method, that ownership is in the center of Hillen a problem. There are more, hoe heet dat, belangen?
Stakeholders. There are a lot more stakeholders in the city center.
Yeah,
than
everybody has an idea. Everybody has an
opinion.
An opinion, a kind of involvement. People from the government, or people from the vastgoed.
Property owners.
Exactly, and yes, and they want to have an opinion about what's going on there, and sometimes we may more not than it should be.
Sometimes our title song would be "Let It Go, Let It Go."
Yes, exactly.
Jos, do I interpret it well that also the area, the city center, it's more politically sensitive?
Yes, that's the right.
All eyes are on the center, of course, also on what you did in Hillen North and in Hoensbroek, of course, with everything that you have realized. But it's just as if it's all more tensions, more exciting, and everything in the center.
And we have to claim some space to work in a soft space, and not in a political environment. Yes. That's the thing, and the challenge with the City Lab. We must not get involved to all these political things and questions, and that's really dangerous for the development of the City Lab. So that's the thing, and that's balance. That's really balancing between all the stakeholders.
Frederic, you have a question?
Yes, I would like to know, okay, it's such a great job. I would like to know, when do you do, and how is the link made with social entrepreneurship? Or how do you intervene to say, okay, there is an opportunity here for social entrepreneurs? Do you do that also? Or do you let it grow naturally with habitants?
Grow, yes, but maybe can Linda answer that question?
Yeah, in Brookerbos, social entrepreneurship isn't the focus. That's a focus we added in the city lab. But the way of working in Brookerbos and Heerlen North, that's what we are trying to do. Well, does it work in a city center with the focus on young people and social entrepreneurship? Because in the city center there is more entrepreneurship, and the ideas which are the young people have has most of the time have links with entrepreneurship.
Yes.
So, like we said yesterday, the people in the city center said, "Well, if we don't do it, who does?" So we have to do something here, and that's very different from here in the north.
Okay,
Kelly,
you would respond on it?
Yes, because I think it's also what we discussed at Maya. What is social entrepreneurship? I think we call it in Brookerbos citizen entrepreneurship, because I think every citizen who does something like this is also actually a social entrepreneur. So yeah. Yes. So I think, but of course the focus in the center of Heerlen is different than in the north of Heerlen. That's true. Yeah.
Yes.
Are there more questions?
Are you involved also with energy transition stuff, or yeah, or is it something that pops up, or no?
There's one initiative on energy and transition things, but we don't. It's not something that we ask people to do. If people think that that's a good idea, it's what Jos said. We're not up to judge. So if they want to investigate if that's something that works, well, maybe it does. Yeah. So there's actually just one at the moment. So the needs in the north of Heerlen are not that big on energy.
The last one on the financing side, you touch about it. So what do you do there? How do you raise funds, and is it through foundations only, or?
Jos, do you respond? Or
the Brookerbos fund is about 200,000 euros invested by the province, the city of Heerlen, and IBA Parkstad, and that's quite a lot of money, but I think we can use it for 2 or 3 or 4 years to achieve some investment for the projects. But I think the old program about Brookerbos, including my role as a broker, or the citizen servants, or Linda or Kelly, that's quite a lot of money. Yes, I think 1.4 million in about 6 years. If you are making it per year, it's not that much, but a lot of money is going to invest in people, because people is the main instrument to help those citizens' initiatives with problem solving, etc., etc. At the question of what Kelly, maybe Kelly, you want to fill it on?
Yeah. I just we decided to raise this Brookerbos funding. First, there was no funding at all. We actually thought that it was possible for initiatives to raise their own money, and I think they can, but sometimes it's needed just for a start, or to continue an initiative, that it's necessary for them to collect some money. So that's where the Brookerbos funding is for. But there's 200,000 in this funding since 2018, and not half of it is now asked
given
by
out.
Is given out. So I think it's really important to see that it's not money is not the first thing that initiatives need.
Yes.
It's time. It's actually the investment of people, of someone like Jos and like Linda, and and other things of the and other people at the municipality who spend time on their initiatives. That's more needed than money.
Chris has a question. I wants to say something.
Yeah, just a quickie. I worked on an industrial heritage site many years ago, the Severn Valley Railway, in fact, and we needed the old railway engineers with the experience of steam trains to maintain the rolling stock. What we suddenly realised is these guys are dying out, and so the project started to become very problematic. I think it's a slightly different example, but it's the same thing. How you keep these things going long term when they really matter, I think, is a really important thing. And often it's to do with skills. You do need skilled people organizing things, and if you don't actually not just maintain those skills, but also to train people to get those skills, I think it's really, really important thing to do.
Yes.
And there's also it's also a difference between Gebroker Bos and the City Lab. There are different initiatives. You will notice that when Job tells his story later, and in the Gebroker Bos there is a Gebroker Bos fund, but within the City Lab we don't have a fund. And I don't have the experience now that we need it. Do you, Linda?
No, absolutely not. And that's
they can find their own funds.
No, they can't find their own. They need us to find the way. And they need us to advise and to sometimes write and help them to find their way, to formulate their questions, their plans, their ideas, to make a good working project plan. And that's, I don't know if I said it in Utrecht, Job, and I advised the initiatives, and in 1.5 years we had 2.2 million euros for all initiatives in Heerlen. So that's a role from us that we self know. There is a question. A big question of initiatives when will help us when nobody a few people can write a good a letter for the funding. There are not many people who can do that, and Job works for some funds too. We always say, okay, if you have a good idea, don't think about the money. We will arrange the money. First the good idea, and then we have all the access to all the funds. We know all the people in Heerlen, in Limburg, in the Netherlands. It's for us very easy to know the way, to lead the way, to help them to write their ideas. And well, that's what we are, where we are now, 2.2 million.
And the 2.2 million is just for the City Lab, for the center.
It's a City Lab and the City Boost. 1 million. We wrote that by ourselves with the municipality for a project to. The idea was to scale up the Gebroker Bos method for the whole city. So we just had 1 million to do that.
Okay. But how do you sustain it, Linda, beyond the grant period? So when the grant money runs out, you've written the bids, you get the one-off. How do you sustain it in the 10, 15 years that go beyond that?
Well, what we do is we don't help people with just a fun idea. The only initiatives we help with funding are them who have a start and have a real idea and initiative for a lot of years. So not, oh, we have a nice festival and we want to do, that's not what we do. So that's the one of the criteria where we work with, which we work with. That's the difference between Gebroker Bos and the City Lab. or no, I think it's not different at all. There is a lot of money, really a lot of money, by the municipality, by local fundings, national fundings, regional fundings. But I think the most important question is, what do you want? And like Kelly said, it's the first answer isn't we want money. The question is, we want to do what we think is good for the city. And the money is second or third. And that's very difficult to get in people's minds. When we were writing the letter for the City Boost, the 1 million project, there were from the fund organization some advisors, and they said, well, we have to do a festival and we have 1 million, and you can do this and you can do that, and we make a competition. The best idea gets money. And we said, yeah, but no, we don't work with that. that's not the voice of the city. That's not what is needed here. And they said, huh, that's not needed. We have 1 million and you don't want it. And as Nijmegen, we said, well, we want to write and we want to help. But if it's something that's not the need of the people, then we keep your 1 million. We don't need it. Well, that was a thing. That was a thing. They never heard it before. And that was also the biggest discussion with the municipality, with the colleagues of Kelly and Monique, that they said, Linda, what are you saying? It's 1 million. It must come to our city. I said, yeah, okay. But with you ask us to help with it, to write it, and we don't do that because that's not our frame. That's not where we stand for. And it was a bit difficult sometimes, but it worked. It worked.
Yeah, we thought it was much better to invest in this infrastructure which we built on in Brooker, the network, than to spend the money and say, hey, we have 1 million for all these initiatives. I think the infrastructure is much more important. Yeah.
And we see with the 200,000 euros from the Brooker Fund, it's only the half of it. Yeah. There is no need for so much money. It isn't there. So that's the thing. Yeah.
I just saw in the chat that Chris has sent
the
video in the mail.
Yeah.
Okay.
I read. Okay. Are there further questions? Nothing. Well, thank you very much, Jos. We will go on with the video and the subtitles so we can upload it and we can share it. Chris has sent an email. I just send it to you, so we can look where
we will solve that problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Jos. That was really, really fascinating. Thank you.
I liked it very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next meeting is, I really don't know. It's at,
I'm checking, 3.
At 3?
Yeah.
So we can drink coffee.
Yes. Yes.
And have a short break, and then see you later.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
See you guys.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thanks.